Hello, everyone. People have asked the question through the years, if God is omnipotent, if he is all-powerful, can he create a rock that even he can't pick up? Now, this is an interesting question because it's a trick question. It's kind of like asking someone, have you stopped beating your wife? Yes or no? No matter what you say, you're a wife beater in that question. And no matter what you say concerning God, he's not all-powerful. Because if he can create a rock that he can't pick up, then he's not powerful enough to pick it up. But if he can't create a rock that he can't pick up, then he's not all-powerful because he couldn't create it. It's a trick question. The reason I bring this up is someone recently asked me, basically offered that I made it sound like I would believe God and trust him if God reversed himself on certain issues. Now, that's one of those kind of gotcha questions. I don't think this person was asking it with that intent, but ultimately that's what those type of questions are designed to do, whether people realize it or not. It'd be like saying, if God suddenly reversed himself on the murder of newborn infants, all of a sudden God said, yeah, now you can bash their heads in and kill them. I don't mind. Now, as a human being, as a father, I don't believe that would be appropriate. You see, God would never ask me to do something that goes against his will of being holy and righteous. God doesn't do wrong. But the question is asked, well, what if God did do that? So then if I were to say, well, then I would obey God, then I look like the tyrant. Wow, you would go kill a newborn infant and bash its head in? You're a monster. But then if I say, well, of course I wouldn't do that, then people would say, well, but that means you wouldn't follow God. Then so you don't truly believe God. You're not trusting in his morality. You're trusting in your own morality. And good for you, they'll say. You know better than God. Like I said, it's a gotcha question, whether it's intentional or not. So I just wanted to bring this to your attention because there's a lot of that in this world where we think, well, our morality somehow trumps God's morality. You may say, well, how so? I believe bashing infants' heads in immediately after they're born is absolutely barbaric and horrible and evil and wrong. And I'm sure you do too. But there are people out there that believe that a baby should be able to be butchered in the womb or partially delivered up to the day of conception and the baby killed just before it departs the birth canal. But yet that's considered moral by some people's standards. So if you kill a baby a few inches from being born, moral. If you kill it after it's born, though it travels those few inches, immoral. That just shows you the topsy-turvy, wishy-washy, selfish, and evil flexibility of our own idea of morality. We concoct ways where this is right, but then again, then it's wrong. It's okay if this, then it's bad if that. But if you do it that way, then it's okay, but not this way. It's a game of moral mental gymnastics. Thankfully, we have a God that doesn't flip-flop. A God that's not going to just all of a sudden say, yep, now murder is illegal and good in my eyes. God is consistent. It is by his standard that all right and wrong should be judged. Unfortunately, we don't always judge according to God's standard of right and wrong. And that's what's wrong with humanity today. We seek to please ourselves, to do what we want to do, instead of heeding to God. Because it means we have to humble ourselves and admit that we don't have all the answers, but he does. So, would I just blindly follow God if God flipped the script and all of a sudden reversed himself? God wouldn't do it, so I can't answer that question. But if God would you? I'm not going to answer that question because he wouldn't ask me. He wouldn't reverse himself and say, okay, now what was bad is now good. He wouldn't do that. So I hope that answers your question to the person that asked it. I believe that I'm always going to look to God and follow His example and trust His opinion. That's the only answer I can give you. God bless.